What happens when you spend so much time trying to figure out whether you want to stay in a relationship or not? And then eventually you have the thought, do I stay or do I go? Because I am not 25, but I am 53. And then what does starting over actually looks like? This one right here is going to be a little bit of a doozy for me. So I had to write my notes down. So here it is. This is the hard truth about staying too long. There is something nobody tells you about staying in a relationship too long. Eventually, you may have to grieve not just the relationship, but the time. And that's exactly where I am. I'm paying my life forward for one other woman right now who is sitting in her car, sitting on the edge of her bed. She is standing in front of the bathroom mirror. She is walking towards her office. She is in the grocery store. And these thoughts are in the back of her mind. She's like, I'm in the middle of my life, and I am now realizing that I may have spent way too much time with the wrong person, and now I'm actually considering what does that look like for me to start over. And so, what is not necessary for one is going to be necessary for someone else. And I don't want to miss that that relationship taught me a lot. That relationship taught me a lot because I'm sitting here right now and I'm asking myself the question and I'm talking through the hard truth of when you stay too long in a relationship. And a part of what I began to ask myself was, okay, I've already invested. We're just going to make this work. That's what we're going to do. And please don't mishear me for those of you who know me and may even know who I had spent many of those years with, because there's nothing wrong with that person. Let's be clear. We all got our own stuff. I'm only talking about me. I want to give that disclosure right now. I'm talking about how I invested over half my life in a relationship. And now I'm at a place where I am starting over and I've just recently started dating again. And so, as I consider asking or thinking through what the hard truth is, the hard truth is telling me is that I'm realizing that something isn't where I want it to be. And I now am deciding, am I willing to invest in the same way or in a different way as I move forward? Because the hard truth is this: love made me stay. All right. I told y'all yesterday when y'all go back and watch the video, I said, I'm hoping that I will not be too vulnerable and I'm hoping that I don't tell all of my business and then y'all try to talk about me. But the hard truth of it is that love made me stay. And maybe I fell in love before I asked enough questions. Maybe I fell in love before I realized that my ladder was leaned up against a different wall, because sometimes we stay because we genuinely love someone. And I do. I actually have great affection for this person. I think also I stayed because I invested a lot of my time, my energy, and I also invested a lot of my money. I'm not having that conversation right now. I also believe that sometimes we stay because we remember the good. Like my mom would say to me, play the whole tape. Play the whole tape. Sometimes we stay because we remember the good. Sometimes we stay because we believe things will eventually change. I told you yesterday, you got to go back and watch the video. If somebody tells you that they are whatever, I'm not even going to use the word, you better believe it. Stop rewriting the narrative and trying to make it be something. And you also see all of the signs. Sometimes we stay because starting over feels very exhausting. Again, I am not 25. I am 53 years old and I am starting over again. Sometimes we are staying because we're afraid that leaving means that we failed. We didn't. I didn't fail. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why I didn't fail, because I learned a great deal and not all of it was bad. I'm just saying that I stayed too long. And the hard truth of it is that I stayed because I loved that person. And here it is. Staying isn't automatically evidence of a commitment. Let me say that again. Me staying didn't necessarily mean that there was evidence of commitment. I was staying because I invested so much time. I was staying because I did care for the person. I was staying because I was afraid to start over. And I'm like, I've already given so much of my time and my money to this relationship. We can really figure it out. We're going to work it out. But guess what? I'm now 53. And this is where I want you to know, at 53, I don't look at relationships the same way I did when I was younger. And that's a good thing. And that's why I'm telling you that I didn't fail, even though I stayed in a relationship a long time. When you're younger, when you're younger, you may think you have unlimited time to figure it out. So again, now I know I normally talk to a certain audience, but if any of you young ladies come and you hear this video, hear big sissy very clear. Hear auntie very clear. You think you got a lot of time to figure it out. I'm telling you, I'm a witness right now, and I'm not even going to tell you how many years. I don't even like to say the number out loud. Let's just say if I'm 53 and I said I spent over half my life, you can do the math. At 53, you start thinking differently about the quality of your years ahead, because while I have more years behind me than I do in front of me, yet I know that God is still writing my story. I am coming to a very strong realization, the hard truth about staying too long. I don't want to spend another 5 years hoping that something is going to become something different when I have enough evidence in front of me. See, my younger self thought I had more time. And so I would give another year, and I would give another month, and I would give another year, and I would give another month, hoping that things would change. But I'm talking to one other woman who can identify. She is sitting on the other side of this video right now, and she's saying, "Whoo, girl, I'm so glad I'm not alone in this." And I don't want to stay somewhere. I don't want to, at this age, I don't want to stay somewhere simply because I've already spent time there. See, if you're listening to what I'm saying, I stayed because I care for the person, but I also stayed because I invested so much time that I kept hoping that things would actually work out. The time I've already invested, it is now gone. The question is, what do I want to do with the time that I have left? And so I'm asking myself this question: am I ready to invest in this starting over? And I'll tell you right now, I am, because that's what I'm doing, but I'm doing it very differently. Starting over at 53 can sound romantic to some until you actually think about what it requires. And let me tell you, my bandwidth, it's not what it was when I was 25 years old. Dating again, meeting new people, explaining who you are, learning their patterns, figuring out whether someone is emotionally available, figuring out whether they actually want the same things, having conversations, trying to find out the history of their family, And honestly, I'm just telling you, trying to decide whether I want to do it again, there have been times where I'm thinking, if life was a little bit different as it relates to my vocation, I just wonder. I just wonder how I would do it again. So here are some of the things that I may not have considered before I decided to stay as long as I did. I have to think about compatibility different. I have to ask the question now at 53, do we actually want the same kind of things? Do we value the same things? Are our values aligned? Do we have similar expectations about partnership? What does commitment actually look like to you? What does marriage even mean to you? And me and my guy have been having these conversations because we both agree that marriage and being someone's husband and wife, they are not the same. That's our opinion because it's us. But some people, they just want the wedding and they want to say that they're married. But do you want to be someone's wife and do you want to be someone's husband? Do we want companionship or do we actually want partnership? Now, maybe I will come back and do another video around that because, again, if it wasn't for my vocation, I just wonder. Too much information, y'all don't judge me. Don't judge me. But because of my vocation, I'm almost sure I have to really think through that question. But I know it's a non-negotiable for me. It's like either you do or you don't. But I just wonder if one other woman is asking, do I want companionship or do I want a partner? And I have to consider the lifestyle and the compatibility of that partner. I have to ask the question, where do you want to live? Because I've got states on my list right now, but the person that I'm dating, they have children. And so what will that mean for them if we want to move to another state? Or do I let go that I want to move to another state? I don't know. But these are some of the questions that I'm actually asking now. How do we want to spend our time together? Do we like traveling? Is he a homebody? I'm not just talking to me. I'm talking to the other woman on the other side of this camera. What does retirement eventually look like? How do we handle our money? How much independence do we actually need? Well, again, my kids are grown, his kids are not grown. And so I'm asking, what does that look like? What does a blended family actually look like? And at this age, you are not necessarily just dating the person. You are now possibly engaging in dating adult children, younger children, former spouses, co parenting relationships. There may be family dynamics that come with the relationship. Love doesn't erase the logistics. Let me say that again. Love does not erase the logistics. You have to be thinking these things through. So while he might be fine or while she might be fine, have you considered that you're going to be dealing with some of the stuff that they bring with them because you are later in life? I'm not 25, I'm 53. I have to think about emotional availability. Is this person actually available for the relationship I'm looking for? Go back and watch yesterday's video where I said, don't play in my face. Yes, don't play in my face. Are they healed enough to build something new? Are they still emotionally attached to a previous relationship? Do we need a Selah? Look for the signs. Are they still attached to the person that they were with? Do they keep bringing that person up? Are they secretly comparing you to that person? Are they genuinely ready, or do they simply enjoy your companionship? All right. I hope you hear what I'm saying. I have to consider my own. Why am I yelling? I done got excited. I have to consider my own life. And this is huge. You want to know why? Because I only have one life to live and I'm not 25. And even when I was 25, I didn't realize that I didn't have as much time as I thought I had, which is why I spent so much time with that person. And now I'm 53. I don't have that time. I have a life. I have routines. There are things that I enjoy doing. I have work. I am full time ministry. I have dreams. I have friendships. I want to travel. I just need to know, is he going to be okay with that? Now, I'm talking about me, but the other woman that's on the other side of this camera as well. I have things that I enjoy doing, and I just need to know, is he okay with enjoying the same things? And are we okay if we have separate things that we enjoy? Because guess what? There's nothing wrong with that. If he like to go fishing and I don't, I'm not going to be tripping when he get up on a Saturday morning and he want to go fishing and I want to go to the farmer's market. I want a relationship that adds to the life I built, not one that requires me to abandon myself to make it work. Because the other day I said, I'm not auditioning. I'm not trying to prove my love. I'm not. No, 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 no. We're not doing that. What I know now that I didn't know before is that chemistry isn't compatibility, that love isn't commitment, that potential isn't partnership. Let me take a moment. Whew. And that time invested is not a reason to stay, Lashay, because that's what happened the first time. So we gotta be clear in this season of our life. We gotta be clear. Being wanted isn't the same as being valued. Being in a relationship isn't the same as being a partner. And longevity doesn't automatically mean that you are in a healthy relationship. Okay, again, I'm being vulnerable and I am paying my life forward for one other woman that's on the other side of this camera. Because here it is. When you're waiting for someone to become ready, you can cost your own time. That's your cost. Let me say that again. Waiting for someone to become ready can cost you the opportunity to live your own life. Are you listening? Do you have that kind of time? But I want you to also know that you don't want to be cynical about it. So just be clear. Like, what we doing? We full grown. Starting over doesn't mean that the love that you had before failed. It just means that you didn't do enough evaluation and collecting enough data. And then the hard truth is you stayed longer than you should have. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me come back because I felt like I just stepped on my own toes. It means that I'm honoring without requiring for that person to become something that they're not going to be. They're already showing me that they're not compatible. So why am I wasting or spending more time than I need to? And I can appreciate the experience with them and I can enjoy their company. But I'm telling you right now that the questions I'm asking myself right now is very clear. I am saying, can I make this work? What? Instead of asking that question, can I make this work? I'm saying, is this actually the life that I want? Did you hear what I just said? See, before I would be like, can I make this work? Which is why I stayed as long as I did. Now I am asking, is this the life I actually want? Does this relationship support the woman that I am becoming? Can I fully be myself in this relationship? Do I feel chosen or do I feel like I'm just somebody they just passing by? Do our values actually fit? Okay. And am I staying because I want this or because I'm afraid to start over? Because that all right, I ain't telling all my business on here because y'all ain't gonna be talking about me. But am I staying because I'm afraid to start over? I done got comfortable. It feels familiar. And here is the mature perspective, women. We're over 50, okay? And some of the younger ones catch it now. I don't want to romanticize leaving. I don't want that. I don't want to tell every woman that if you're unhappy, walk away. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if the relationship is feeling more complicated than it is feeling like it's growing, then why are you staying longer than you need to? I want to tell myself in this season of my life, I want to be very clear that I no longer need to stay because I'm afraid that I've given so much time. I'm afraid of starting over. I don't want that for myself. I need to take a moment Cause I'm paying my life forward and I feel so vulnerable because y'all gonna come back and watch the video and y'all gonna be trying to figure the things out. And I'm just telling you right now that what it looked like, I'm just not negotiating. I'm not doing it. I know, they say when we get to this age, we know what we want. I'm just telling y'all, don't judge me because I thought I knew what I wanted when I was younger and I didn't. And so now I'm actually catching up to it. So I need a minute. Okay? Don't judge me. I'm not afraid of starting over. That part I'm clear about. I'm more afraid of staying somewhere too long and calling it faith when in fact I just am afraid. There it is. Because this is the hard truth about staying in a relationship too long. Go back and watch the other video where I said, don't play in my face. Don't play in my face. Please don't do that. But the only way people play in your face is if you allow them, because we grown. And the last time I checked, I'm not 25. I am 53 years old. I feel like I've learned enough from that previous relationship that I stayed too long in to know what I do want and what I don't want. But what I am saying is that I'm also catching up because I gave so much of my time and investing so much of my time and so much of my money in that relationship. So I had to forgive myself first. I had to forgive myself first. 30 days of Lashay. Y'all come back tomorrow. All this week I'm talking about relationships. And it may be next week too. Cause this for me. I'm just being vulnerable and paying my life forward for that one other woman so you don't feel like you by yourself. I already know it. Cause the hard truth is that some of us stay too long in these relationships and we need to forgive ourselves. And we need to know that even at this stage, it's not too late, but you need to be clear because we're not doing that again. We're not repeating giving too much time while we're trying to figure things out. You ask the questions, look for the fruit, you will know. Collect the data. That's what dating is. Come back tomorrow. All right. Peace.